National Public Health is concerned, we say that their proposal creates a clear disincentive. The proposed tax initiative should not be used as a tool to wreak havoc on the main livelihood of farmers and workers.
We are not against the imposition of higher sin taxes. What we oppose is the exorbitant tax rate under HB 57.
The industry gained at least 25.5 billion in target revenues, according to the National Tobacco Authority.
Actually, if you check the
Let me
latest
continue.
statistics, the
Your
tobacco
turn will come
industry is
later.
actually a sunset
Your
industry.
turn will come
It's
later.
on the verge of
I'm
death.
going to address that,
okay.
so your turn will come later. Thank you. Exactly, Your Honors. The industry is still hitting its targets and is a major source of revenue for the government. Next, you know that at least 700% increase in excise tax on low-price cigarettes is proposed by your bill, right?
Yes, it's because
Yes,
cigarettes
and you
are
are
very
aware
cheap because
that
of
the
the
local
monopoly.
tobacco
It's not
industry
because it
is
became...
a source of income, right?
Of course, but do we want...
For
or it-
industry workers, farmers, and their families.
But ma'am, are you
Yes.
aware that there's a transitory
It's my
policy
turn, please. Your turn
where
will
the
come later.
farmers
Let me
will
ask the
be
question.
redirected
This
to
would
cultivate...
ultimately cause a sharp decrease in sales. You agree, right?
But madam, again, these farmers
Again,
will be
you
redirected
should
to other
be
crops.
responsive
It's part
to
of
the
House Bill
questions I'm
5
asking.
specifically said. Are you aware, madam, that in terms of health costs,
Mhm.
cigarettes actually, like, they take up 170 billion pesos?
Yes, but let me pose that question. So you're marginalizing smokers and drinkers to answer for universal health care?
Also, you actually want to idealize them and put them in a pedestal? Is that
No,
what
not
you want
exactly.
with your
I'm
proposal?
just asking, why are you marginalizing these consumers into a certain group that would answer for universal health care, which should be the concern of everyone?
Don't you think
That's why
they-
it's universal.
Don't you
right?
think they need to be directed with a measure? Because
No.
they, in fact...
That's controlling behavior, consumer behavior.
Okay, different folks,
have
different
to
strokes. I
allow-
respect
yes.
it. That is, in fact, your opinion.
Exactly.
Your Honors, our affirmative herein has rested all their case on the central domain title. However, as you can see, there is only a native title, and herein there is a need for a certificate so that it should be recognized. In this case, Your Honors, it is a fundamental principle of law that there should be a basis, a factual and legal basis for every repeal. Now, Article 7 of the Civil Code provides that if there is a contravention of a constitutional or statutory law, then repeal the prima facie validity of the law. We find that it is in case all the criticisms and questions in the law is in fact stemming from the fundamental misunderstanding thereof. First, it's a factual antecedent in the case. Clearly, Your Honors, this does not in any way necessitate the repeal of the law. We have clarificatory proceedings like the ongoing NEDA review, the ongoing dialogues which started in January 2007. There's continuous...
This is not a soap opera. The affirmative kept on attacking the judgment but proposed no remedy or alternative whatsoever as regards such, especially as regards practicability. Their stand is virtually inexistent. The fact is, Celdran offended the teachings of the Catholic Church against its stand on contraception. To my main argument, we believe that the repeal of RA 9490 as amended by RA 10083 is not practicable as it will result in a self-defeating scenario due to 4 reasons. First, construction is already ongoing in the area. Construction of infrastructure and buildings so that it will amount to a waste of resources. In fact, a 1.2-kilometer runway is already up and running. So what will happen to the taxes already spent and allocated by the government with the repeal of the law?
Side would like us to believe that there is a need for the creation of a mechanism for loss and damage, which requires developed countries to pay compensation to these developing countries who are prone to natural disasters. Well, we beg to disagree. Let me enlighten you with these following points. First, there is redundancy. The Convention on Climate Change has already created enough mechanisms to compensate for this
Are you aware
climate change.
that today, 12 o'clock noon, Bangladeshi warship arrived carrying 40 tons of assorted goods and $1 million to the nations, to victims of Yolanda.
Yes, they need donations.
Yes. So it only proves that current mechanisms
Good evening,
are
Your
working.
Honors. Your Honor, the third speaker seems confused. He talked about practicality, not practicability. Practicability means, can it be done? And Your Honor, regrettably, what the speaker for the affirmative side has presented are mere hopes and wishes without concrete plans. Allow me, Your Honor, to entertain you. Well done is better than well said. This is the immortal statement of one of the founding fathers of the United States, Benjamin Franklin. Yes, Your Honor?
Are you saying that it cannot be done at all?
Your Honor, what I'm saying is, at this moment, it cannot be done. And unfortunately, the affirmative side failed to prove the burden that it. Moving on to my next point, since the proposal lacks commitment, consequently there is no concrete plan for the same, evident from the fact that the mechanism lacks a clear standard for implementation. No matter how we painstakingly search the Kyoto Protocol, UNFCCC, nor any international law, we will not find a clear and comprehensive standard for this mechanism. So moving on to my point, okay, clear and comprehensive standard for this mechanism. This situation is unfortunate because this complex and new mechanism poses a lot of material question in its implementation. To mention a few, these are: in what instances will the developed countries be liable under this mechanism? For example, in the Philippines, suffering about 20 typhoons a year. Applying the mechanism, will the developed countries be liable to every typhoon? It's not. How do we distinguish between typhoons allegedly caused by climate change from mere random weather events? What is the time frame for its implementation? Will the developed countries be endlessly liable and responsible under this mechanism? How do we determine the extent of their liability? Your Honor, for our final point, we will leave you with these two material questions. First, how can the proposal materialize if the developed countries do not even admit that they are liable? Second, if the countries cannot even resolve the basic issue of liability?